So I ended up in the library today browsing comic books, as you would. Just happened. And libraries or bookstores also, for me, have always been magic places. But they also have been terrible places because I was thinking, if I would not be a designer, I would be a writer. But, then you go to a place like that and there are millions of books and you wonder, okay, does it make a difference if I do one more? How do I stand out? How would mine be different? It probably wouldn't. So, but the other thing is, comics have always been an interesting point because I'm a visual person, and my first attempt of doing a book was not just writing but also illustrating and thinking of it might be a film script, a storyboard. But funny to say that as a designer I am so terrible at drawing. I couldn't actually draw two faces convincingly as being of the same person. Maybe if I would have started practicing some 25 years ago, I would be probably a little bit better by now, but or I would have at least so many drawings that I could actually have at least one book. But maybe at some point I would revisit that. But because, I like telling stories. I like telling stories as a designer. And I think I might actually like the idea of telling stories as a storyteller. And so 25 years ago, it must have been roughly around that time, I started this film script that then became illustrated, semi-illustrated, semi-animated story. I experimented at that time, early with HTML, Java, and Flash. And Flash died, and then I put the whole thing aside to just revisit it a year later or 2 years later, and then it's still not finished. So I do have this half-finished book, and I wonder actually if I do finish it, and then of course, would it be special enough to be something else than just one more in the sea of millions of them, or would it be, somebody discover it and say, wow, that's cool, let's make that a feature film, and I can be the director. Keep on dreaming, Christian. So maybe I should actually ask your opinion. What do you think? Should I actually, don't worry, I'm not abandoning the yachts, or the other designs. I'm just adding, more pressure on me by doing even more things with less time. But I do want to write that book. Finish writing that book. Because, starting projects is fun, but finishing projects is, I think, even better. So, another reminder, don't actually add too many ideas, on your to-do list, because how will you ever finish them? But did I tell you more about that book? No, probably not. So it's a vampire story. It's about Mina. It's about life. It's somewhere in the future, somewhere in the past. I don't know. So, would you be interested? Would you? Would you like to collaborate? Do you want to, take part in my journey? Would that become a real project that you like to follow? So I actually got a little bit of a pressure, you know, like as I said, like espresso, you know, sometimes you do need pressure to do things. Okay, well, don't know what else to say. You know, it's really, I think it really inspired me to look at this or browsing this books in the library and looking at not so much about the stories really, but also, you know, the different styles. I think, you know, this whole comic style, I think I find actually, you know, particularly interesting, you know, an interesting visual way of storytelling. You might argue that compared to a normal book, it's compared to a normal book, it's a little bit patronizing because it actually puts already the pictures, you know, as pictures in your head, so you don't actually, as a reader, have to build them. But I think, you know, that's why I said I would probably, that's why I abandoned actually the whole idea of the film script in the beginning, because I was, you know, super patronizing, and every director would have hated me because I wanted to not just tell a story, but also I wanted to you know, design how the story is told. You know, I wanted to do the direction, I wanted to choose the music, I wanted to do the cinematography. Yeah, that's not gonna work. So where are all these flies coming from? That's somewhere in the city, I suppose. Yeah, tell me, you know, would you be interested in following this idea with me, revive that you know, writing project and see where we're getting? Or you just tell me, shut up and focus on your designs? Let's see. Hit the like button if you like it. If you don't like it, hit the like. No, I don't want to encourage you to do silly things like that. Subscribe, tell your friends, the usual stuff. And I see you next time.